absolute dynamite, and boom it goes!
And boom, the layout goes! Slusta and Decran are on the move. To Decran!
Welcome to the London Invite 2025 here at the Grasshopper Rugby Football Club. We have a rematch of the World Games final from back in Birmingham, Alabama. We have USA going up against Australia Friday the 13th. Unlucky for some, unlucky for the opponents of USA throughout the day. They've been the juggernauts here as expected, but Australia looking to put some flies in the champagne of the Americans. Liam Grant alongside Rachel Douglas. How are you getting on today?
Yeah, great. It's been such an exciting day. Even just these sort of friendly warm-up games have all been absolute bangers. We've seen so much exciting, energy. You know, it's like, it's the play itself, but it's also just it feels like the players are all really excited to be here, to have this opportunity to come out and kind of get a feel for who they're going to be playing against, get a feel for how they're doing. And yeah, we're just really, really excited that we have this opportunity at London Invite.
Looking at Team USA now on offense. I've spotted Claire Chastain and Claire Trope on the sidelines for Team USA, down 2 female matching players due to, I believe, small injuries, but I'm hopeful that they'll be good to play later on in the tournament, or at least the rest of the season. Cammy Groom burning up the yards on the far sideline. Lindsay takes off down the line, but looking for Thompson in the end zone. This one, a feathery flick and well read by Thompson. She's been absolutely everywhere today. A real standout for Team USA.
Yeah, Thompson holding it down, you know, just like that confidence, this moving into the space as if like that space is theirs to own, you know, like just you see it with the way they move. You can see it when the sort of the disc is caught and they see that disc cut streaking deep, that they're going to kind of make that effort and get there. Beautiful.
Anna Thompson, plenty of mixed experience at club level, also national level, as part of the USA U24 mixed team that won the gold medal in Perth. So has been to Australia, has visited the land of her opponents. A nice clean hold from Team USA. That first point was for male matching players. This second one will be for female matching players with a FMP pulling. It'll be live player for Team USA. Yeah, Anna Thompson's been great. I've been covering USA all day, all their games, and live player's been sensational. Anna Thompson. They're going to have to pull a lot of hard yards here as well, with Trope and Chastain sitting this game out. Going to probably have to play a few extra points. Here we're going to see a taste of the Australia O-line.
Yeah, thankfully with a few people kind of just taking it easy, you know, it's early in the weekend, it's early in the season, they want to make sure that they're nice and healthy. But thankfully both sides bringing their full squads here to London Invite. The World Games team will only be 14, but both teams naturally have some reserve players and valued members of the squad that are here to kind of enjoy the experience like everyone else this weekend.
Lada Matos playing as the axis handler role, kind of taking over the role of Tom Tulip Cupcake, who was for so long the center handler in this O-line. Kat Phillips playing in her 4th World Games, I believe, and still just 33 years old. I'm not sure if anyone's ever played in 4 World Games in flying disc, but might have to do some fact checking with that. Kat Phillips, when she gets to China, will reach that milestone. Gan lasers one down the sideline. Oh, just bobbles out of the hands. Sealed off so well. An unfortunate drop for Wea.
We are getting position, holding that space, but maybe just taking it slightly too wide, didn't then have a really solid play on the disc. That was sort of a fingertip situation, focusing maybe a touch more on the boxing out of her defender than, and wasn't able to give attention to the catch until it was maybe a little bit too late there.
So it will be Dylan Freechild to get this D-line rolling yet again. He's had that job throughout today and did a fantastic job for Rhino Slam on the D-line, just trying to go every other pass. And he has some Rhino Slam teammates on the field with the likes of Hayes, Helton tearing upfield. That one a dangerous throw, but squeaks through to Finney. Takes the big around to Freechild, ushering his teammates where he wants them to go. And there, a shot to lift player knocking on the doorstep. First break opportunity for USA. Hayes with the sliding catch and a brilliant goal. The Rhino Slam man makes it 2-0 for USA.
Yeah, keeping form for USA. They've been building all day and they look really solid right now, and they look amped up. Yeah, we were sort of saying these are just warm-up games. How much energy are they going to expend on them? But I guess when you're Team USA powerhouses, there's always some energy for some big celebrations and pumping up your teammates.
So Australia caught in the hop in their first offensive possession. That was an upwind break for Team USA as well. Definitely upwind, downwind game. Kind of a stiff win, but nothing crazy. Definitely still very playable, as we saw USA able to work it upwind there.
The wind's been building over the course of the day. It started quite flat. We didn't have too much in the earlier games, and the sun was bearing down on us. We've lost the sun, thankfully, since we're unaccustomed to its presence, and we're back to our kind of comfort under the clouds. But the wind has definitely picked up, and I think again this is one of those sort of changing situations. And the other thing to note is that this pitch is going a different direction. USA played on here in the last game, but Australia were playing on a field that was facing the other way. So again, those adjustments are, you know, the changing environment throughout the day, but also figuring out as you flip onto a different pitch, like how are you going to make the most of this? Where's the high side? How can you maximize it? And just making sure you're making those adjustments as you go.
Fresh line here for Australia as that pull just sneaks out of bounds. You can see happy to play their whole roster on offense or defense, Australia, as they change it up here. Looks like a bit of a side stack. Certainly Phillips and Pigeon isolated on this near sideline, as Keys initiates with a dangerous throw and slapped away by Lindsay. The USA are just playing at a different pace right now. Thompson wants to break. Boxley working hard to get free on the open side. Thompson going in. Boxley tears down the field at a ferocious pace, pins the ears back and just lets loose. 3-0 USA.
This is the way USA are going to want to start games, coming out super dominant. And yeah, this is obviously the game plan. The Aussies are looking strong, but they're just, you know, maybe been a bit unlucky so far. Things like hand blocks, you know, they're not super unusual, but they're not super common, and it's just kind of like a grit and determination, focus, making sure that you're really kind of intentionally moving your mark. And maybe by this point of the day, when you've already had a couple games and maybe you're feeling a bit tired, thinking about what's for dinner, you might lose some of that a bit. But at the moment, we're not seeing any kind of lack of focus or distraction from the US side. They've been really clinical in getting those Ds and then quickly converting them. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one. But we've seen Australia put in some huge moves throughout the day, and I absolutely back them to have that in their ability. It's whether they're able to bring it out for us right now.
I think the biggest question to be asked of Australia is, without Tom Tulick Cupcake, their centerpiece handler, who's going to step up? And it's Alex Ladamatos or John O'Keefe playing that male matching handler role, and that's where they have to step up. John O'Keefe not finding his first pass there, and that's where they're going to connect to be able to do as well as they did last time. The silver medal for Australia was an exceptional result, a very close game as well. They pushed USA all the way to the edge last time, but haven't really laid a hand on USA at the start of this game. USA have been very good on the transition. We've heard Matty Sang before the game saying, I want quick transition, I want you to pick it up and go, and they've done just that, and Australia caught napping. So Keys back out there, the man from Wollongong, looking to get things off quickly, and that is some better offense from the Australian. It looks like a forced middle here from Team USA, just trying to stop the hooks down the sideline there. Blady throw goes up, and it's the first goal for Australia. The famous hands of Rob Andrews takes that one down. Doesn't have the gloves on today, but getting to work.
Delivered by the famous hands of Cat Phillips. That's yeah, that's going to be a combo. It can create some fire on the field. Cat Phillips before the game was reminiscing on the fact that this will be, yeah, as you mentioned, her fourth World Games. She first played back in Cali and is the only person to have played from that rotation all the way through. And was saying that, you know, it's just such a privilege and an honor, and she'll keep playing until someone tells her she's not able to anymore, basically. Biggest honor to be able to put on that jersey and go and represent Australia like that. And if she's going to keep playing like that, then I imagine she'll keep having a spot on the team.
Yeah, what are the odds she plays another World Games cycle, another 2? Definitely wouldn't bet against it.
Yeah, if anyone can.
Yeah, no Mish Phillips this time, who was on the roster last time, so her sister not making the journey to London or China, but Kat still representing. And a score on the board for Australia to settle themselves. Let's see if they can put some pressure now on USA. I think at the last cycle, Australia showed they can be just as athletic as Team USA, but you also have to have your tactics right, your matchups, and, you know, try and do something to fluster Team USA. Brownlee gets the break throw to Kocher to kick things off. Boxley looking for the reset. Johnson now across the field. Kocher completely unguarded. And Brett Holzmeyer running like he's angry at the ground, fights into that front corner space.
Bit of blown coverage, unmarked player. Definitely that wasn't the plan. You can kind of see Australia look around and be a bit confused about how that happened. Tried to recover, but as you say, when you've got someone stomping through with that sort of determination, it's going to be tough to claw that back. One of the things I love about watching the Australia side, whether it's this World Games squad or, you know, we've seen different under-24 cycle or world cycles, is I think they're really interesting and creative in how they play defense, particularly in a mixed environment. I was speaking with the assistant coach, Yui, before the game, and he was part of the coaching staff when the Blue Bottles took silver at the World Championships under-24s in London in 2015, I think it was. And I remember speaking to him at that time, and he was talking about how, you know, if you just play a zone where you kind of play against people's strengths and kind of ignore their gender matchup and just put people in different positions based on, you know, thinking about what they're actually really going to bring to that position, and sort of, you know, whether you use your male matching players in certain ways and female matching, being a bit irreverent about, you know, gender matchups. They often come up with really interesting looks, and they came out of this game in a zone that I think looked like it was going to be interesting, but we haven't really seen them back on defense too much. So not sure how many or more opportunities. That's up to them to figure out if they want to be able to practice that zone. But yeah, just really exciting to see, and I think that's something that the US, I'm sure, will appreciate, getting the chance to play against some of these interesting different offenses and defensive looks. Sorry.
So after the British invited themselves into Australia and USA, they've returned the favour and invited them back home. As we're here at the London invite, that one goes through the hands of Cat Phillips at high disc, difficult to catch, and you see USA looking to break quickly. Oh, an incredible steal, like a thief in the night, comes flying in there. Absolute money from Wea. Loses her hat but keeps the disc and keeps Australia within touching distance. Phillips wants to send it, that one very low, but great adjustment from McGuckin. Knocking on the doorstep, another spicy throw. Australia get it done.
Yeah, that was a little bit messy, a little bit janky, a little bit like squeaky at times, but you know, the score's on the board, and so they did the job. Massive defensive effort, really great read of that, and kind of kept the effort through. to make sure that as everyone else sort of stopped to celebrate a score, Australia decided to keep that coming through and turn that one over. And then great effort to work it back down. We see here again, yeah, unfortunately, if you have to kind of stop, Colton having to kind of stop to try and go directly up for that disc and giving the opportunity for we had to run through. Amazing. And then they got to the races. I think that quick movement is going to be really critical. They seem to work really well, and they're kind of building those connections. That quick movement, yeah, is sort of not giving the defense a chance to get tight, get set. And yeah, your throws might come out a little bit janky at times, but don't trust your receivers, right? That's part of the game.
We are one of the standout players for Lunchbox when they completed at the World Ultimate Club Championships. A fantastic mixed team out of Brisbane. And a lot of these Australian players probably played a lot more mixed than some of their counterparts on USA. You do have the likes of Liv player, Anna Thompson, who've played a lot of mixed. I think Michael Ling may have played some mixed as well, but definitely I think that might be the advantage the Australians have. At a short pull, but rolling out the side. You can maybe trap him on the sideline here, but they can't trap Thompson. Groom gets the easy throw to McKenna. Keeps momentum going downfield. Kocher goes for the swing. Brownlee. Oh, a brilliant stop and stutter from Kocher. When the veterans on this World Game side throws a lofty number out to McKenna, who runs it down with ease and really finding the groove here. USA had a tough game against France this morning, but since then have been really at just another level, another gear than all of their opponents.
Yeah, I'm loving seeing the different kind of movement styles of the US players. We see some ankle breaking cuts in the middle there, really attacking that central space, managing to kind of move the players around and fight. And then we can see here Colton just running onto that, kind of using, I guess, a bit more sort of like agility and like spatial awareness rather than kind of like just powerhousing and to losing a defender in the middle, really kind of using the space and figuring it out. And earlier on in the point, sort of moving the disc around, Colton's really great at that sort of throw and go. The way that she releases the disc, she's already in the motion of moving forward, and it's kind of really just makes it impossible for the defender to stay tight, because by the time she's thrown, she's already kind of, without traveling, of course, on her way.
So commanding lead for USA. It's just 16 minutes gone on the clock and already 5 goals on the board for the Americans. Australia just kind of setting themselves into this game now, as we see Nathan Kolakovic in the background there getting all the shots for Team USA. I'm trying to get everyone to call him Koalovic because I think he looks like a koala. After I spent some time with him in Australia and I saw the striking resemblance.
Yeah.
He's okay with it. We've approved that nickname. Nathan Koalovic. Ladamatos with the disc inside his own end zone. Gets to know Freechild very well there. Unfazed by the contact. Let's see, we again with a big old buttery biscuit. Kat Phillips completely unguarded in the end zone. That's not a good idea. How does she get there?
I see a bit of confusion from Finney. Saw that there was a sort of gender mismatch. There's obviously some kind of confusion about who was where. Finney was marking one of the male matching players and was sort of trying to recover and figure out what's what, but obviously in that confusion and in that sort of mix-up, Kat Phillips just decides to exploit that. Yeah, miles of space. Here
Nobody's marking Phillips.
Yeah.
That wasn't part of the defensive strategy. The most prolific goal scorer in Australia in probably modern history. I don't know, certainly the most famous, I'd say, Australian player. And just, yeah, nobody marking her. Didn't look like anyone was going to mark her at any particular stage.
Didn't fancy it, you know, just wasn't on the cards for that point. But yeah, I mean, if that's going to happen, then great work. I mean, it's so quickly realised as well. Kat Phillips obviously realised quickly, exploiting it, and the rest of the team being able to kind of see that and the throw to go and to be so well executed as well. So yeah, great. punish it. Why not?
And we see Wia back out there again. She's played a lot of points already in this game. Not sure if they're playing everyone here. Australia. You'd love to see them, from their perspective, get a break, or at least kind of force a break opportunity. Their defensive strategies have not put any real pressure on USA so far. Again, USA find it very easy to get momentum downfield, particularly Thompson running these give-goes. Boxley as well, doing well in handler space. Lindsay pops one to Brownlee, who always quick to swing and keep the disc moving. Nobody on Thompson now. And Australia eventually recovering, staying with the zone, but Thompson again attacking that soft space in the middle. Holzmeyer now, Boxley. Australia not being aggressive enough in the handler space, allowing USA easy throws at times. Brownlee. And Thompson, quick to swing. Holzmeyer at the front. Boxley requesting into the back. Continuously asking questions of this Australia defense. Brownlee, oh, dangerous throw, and there's a block. Some contact on the play. You see Kirsten Johnson gathering herself.
You mentioned at the beginning of this point that we hadn't seen too much defensive pressure. The USA didn't look too ruffled. I think this zone, I mean, they moved quite quickly through the middle field, but this has really held them up outside the end zone, forced the US to take a number of passes. They've obviously been looking unflustered by that, but the whole point is that you kind of make them rep and rep and rep without getting that score until either there's some frustration and error made on the offensive side, or there's the opportunity for the D, which is what we saw in the middle there. And I guess they're just having a little discussion now. There's obviously some contact, but just trying to clarify whether that constitutes a foul or how to resolve it.
And looks like another female matching player being carted off for USA. See Chastain there coming on. They're running out of numbers here. Team USA.
Glad they brought the whole squad because they're going to need them this weekend. Grueling, this London invite friendly.
Yeah, that's probably a worry for the USA coaching staff. That's a situation they don't want to find themselves in, is pushing their players more than they want to. Seeing her come to the sideline now, Kirsten Johnson doesn't look like she's in too much discomfort, so hopefully fit to continue as Holzmeyer continues downfield, looking to attack the middle again. But Australia making good end zone stand here. Thompson doing her best to move the defenders with her fakes. Lindsay. Thompson again trying to create space, but an exceptional end zone defense set from Australia, but it's the blade that cuts through the Australian zone. Marcus Brownlee pulls the trigger and finds the end zone.
Excellent delaying from Australia. They stayed in that zone and really kind of shut down the options, tried to corral some of that flow that the US had been building, and actually ultimately it took a slightly more aggressive shot to find someone in the end zone. So I think that's generally, although it didn't get a sort of a successful turn, you know, you've made them take 100 passes where they wanted to take 3, and ultimately they had to take an option which was well executed and in the end wasn't too risky, but it's not that kind of flat backhand to the chest that they would often be electing to try and take where they can.
It looks like we might have a halftime here, folks. So we're going to take a quick break. USA 6, Australia 3.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're Frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
crazy. I gotta break on myself.
Welcome back to the London Invite, just in time for the opening pull of the second half of the USA versus Australia. USA in a commanding lead here, but Australia starting to find their footing in this game. Liam Grant alongside Rachel Douglas. How are you getting on, Rachel?
Oh, I'm having a lovely time. Beautiful, really enjoying this game, enjoying the coverage from ULTI.TV. Remember, if you want to catch all the games for the rest of the weekend, make sure you become an ULTI.TV member. It's going to be over 45 streamed games this weekend, and you're going to want to see them. They're going to be great.
Phillips taking off down the near sideline. Oh, dangerous throw, just straight into traffic. Crossing the lanes there. Player looking for Helton. This connection has been working very well for USA. Liv Player, the gunslinger. It's not what I was expecting from her on this USA team, but her flicks have been money.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned the kind of the coaching priority of selecting players that work well together. I think when you have, you know what people want, you know what cuts they want, it kind of frees up people who might otherwise not usually play that role, but to be able to put stuff out there because they know. You can see here that miscommunication, devastation for the Australian team, wanting to come out strong in the second half, and USA just punishing with that straight long shot to Helton, and Helton not wasting a beat straight into the end zone for the score, and kind of further knocking the wind out of Australian sails.
Yeah, you can see Kat Phillips there tearing down the sideline. I always find Australia are athletic to match up against USA. That's never been their problem, I think. It's been a problem with most other teams, but it's their decision making, their small ball. I think at times that's where I think Australian Ultimate as a whole lacks a little bit. Is there nuanced soft passes while their big ball Ultimate, they're owning skies, running hard, beating the matchups 1-on-1. But that's been fine for them. But yeah, that was Kat Phillips not at all seeing the traffic in the lane there and gifting one to USA. You can see, I think, a tactic of this game. I think Maddie Sang has assigned little roles to each of their warm-up games. Hey, we're going to focus on quick transitions. That's something that seems clear to me here. And USA, again, wasting no time attacking the end zone.
Coming into this tournament, I believe the USA had already had a kind of warm-up scrimmage friendly at Nationside back over in the States.
It was Fort Collins Shame. I think it was 15-10, I believe, to USA in a warm-up game.
Yeah, very nice. But so for Australia, this is their first outing, so they really are seeing this as the opportunity to test themselves and see what they need to work on. And I'm sure there's going to be some stuff they can take away.
I see a zone here from USA, leaving a Australian player free in the end zone, now coming underneath. John O'Keefe looking to move things quickly, and unfortunate from Patterson. Not sure she was ready for that one. But I like this movement from Keys. You can see when he gets his give-go action going, it helps him move up the field, but just not fully locked in at the moment. Groom, who has definitely been locked in so far. Brownlee showing his pace, get free when needed on the resets. Player. That one a little more dangerous from Player, and gifts it back to Australia. They've rarely got it back, Australia. Keys unleashes a throw all the way from downtown, and an incredible layout attempt. Did so well to get a paw on it. Little Foreman. And you can see us, USA, looking to move it quickly and get half up the field without a defensive mark being put on. Thompson has Groom going deep. Can't you get a read on it? Swallowed up by me, and
the angle of that disc bit being sort of IO, but the angle of it wasn't quite right. It didn't sit out in front of Cami Groom, so she sort of had to look over her other shoulder, and in that instance the defense having a better line of sight, able to chase that down, and yeah, I think Groom just maybe lost sight of it, really couldn't see where that was going to go. Again, a junky look from USA, and
They're trusting that Australia won't take the deep shot up against the wind. Kocher giving Foreman 10, 20 yards deep. Going coast to coast now, the Australians, and again the fumble comes. Prentice this time. Lindsay to Kocher. Groom unguarded. Brownlee throws the floaty around backhand to the goal scoring machine, Cammy Groom.
Really nice and smooth end zone offense. Really just kind of throwing the player. The player's already open, they've got the separation, but just being able to put that kind of the correct curve on the disc to throw around the force, unbothered by them really. You know, at this sort of elite level, you've got to have a really, really strong force to even sort of disrupt some of these throwers. They kind of seem quite unbothered, and you see here maybe slightly far off for the force, giving a bit too much space to Brownlee, who can just put that beautifully out, sits out in front of Groom, and they can bring that down for the score. Australia here just seeming a bit, the offense just looks a bit rattled. You know, we said it's gusty and they're still kind of slightly overthrowing some of these passes. I think they're struggling with pace. We saw in that last point some quick movement, and then there was trying to get quick movement out to someone who was static, and that kind of difference in pace can make that really challenging. And similarly, you know, getting the turn and having to go straight onto D and just not being able to kind of clamp down in the way that you know they want to achieve. So maybe something to think about, because I think that's something that USA are really exemplifying here, of how to play with pace, and that they're using that quick movement really, really well to get the defense on the back foot, but equally are able to just change the pace of play and calm and reset as is needed.
It's Australia that look jet lagged at the moment. USA have become accustomed to the design zone and playing great ultimate. Andrews in the handle space, not something you see very often. Feeling he's going to tear deep straight away. Brushes past Hayes. There's the deep shot. Going back to the old tactics of just looking for Rob Andrews deep. Could smell that one coming when he caught the pole. I was like, he's gone. He's gone. Brushed past Hayes. Freechild tried to spin away, but there was no catching that man.
Yeah, we've seen that play from Australia before. The dish to a handler, jet deep, put your absolute most speedy player on it, and then just launch it. And actually, you know, if you're going to throw a dime like that, and you've got a receiver who's able to take the hit and keep moving, fair play to them. That's a great way to kind of put the US on the back foot, right? Like, what they've been doing hadn't been working. They've been struggling. So let's do something exciting and finish off the game on a high, because that is the game.
Yeah, Rob Andrews scores to lose the game, but they scored the last point, so really they're the winners. That's how it works, right? Yeah, just warm-up games here, so finishing early. A commanding performance from USA yet again, making a statement here in London. Who can dethrone the champions? I'm not so sure anyone can. They look sensational. A few injured players on the field, but it shouldn't shake them too much. Be sure to tune in to all the action this weekend, London Invite, here on ULTI.TV. Be sure to like, subscribe, and more importantly, join the YouTube channel. We'll be streaming 3 fields all weekend long, the best players in the world. If you want access to all those streams, join the YouTube channel, support ULTI.TV. We've been giving you all for free Friday. There's a few games behind the paywall tomorrow, some free games as well, but check out all the action coming up on ULTI.TV.
Yeah, it's going to be a great weekend. Make sure that you're supporting ULTI.TV so we can continue to bring you these amazing games and showcase all the talent that we can see here today and throughout the weekend.
So we'll wrap things up there, folks. Fantastic performance for Rachel Douglas. I've been Liam Grant, and we will catch you tomorrow.
Thank you. Thanks. Merci beaucoup.
ULTI.TV.